we doing today?
Awesome, brother. Having fun, enjoying life. I'm in South Florida. It's beautiful outside, sunny, like probably 80, 85 degrees. I'm going to go get a workout here in a little while, go to the beach, have some fun, the usual.
I wish I could go to a beach. Are they not closed off there, or do you just?
So the beaches are closed, but along the side of them, you can actually work out and run.
Okay, like here, the beaches, like all the provincial parks are starting to open, which is kind of crazy because we've had 12 more cases. So I don't understand it all, but stores are opening. I think it's too soon.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. It was really interesting to be able to see that we're closing beaches, but now we're starting to open up beaches and we're closing schools.
Yeah.
I don't know the theory behind all that. Our kids are for sure not learning like they should at the level they should. So I just think it's really interesting just to be able to see what's going on and
what they really care about.
Yeah, and what they care about, and everybody's hearing numbers on Corona. But at the end of the day, I know people that have gotten Corona and tested positive, and there's no symptoms. And so, and then I know somebody that's very close to me that has tested positive for Corona. And, he's an older gentleman and he's like a mentor, second dad to me. And he's been in the hospital, but it wasn't the Corona that got him there. It was something else. So they're calling it Corona. So it's just very interesting to be able to see the whole thing. We're going to know in like 5 or 10 years what this real deal is. But I think that people that start this stuff or even the media should be liable for what they say because we don't really know facts. And we don't, people say, oh, it can stay on cardboard for an hour. And then I heard something about, oh, it can stay there for 5 days. And, it is what we don't know at this point.
But they're spitting out a whole bunch of facts that might not be true, right?
Yeah. So it's very interesting to see how, people are so, it's just an interesting world right now. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think it's more because of May 24 is coming up. Their priorities aren't straight. They're looking at let's get some money back for alcohol and stuff. That's my opinion, but
interesting. Yeah, it could be.
Stuff should be open yet.
It could be. I have no clue, and we'll find out, in the next few years.
It's going to take time. I wouldn't even want to put a vaccine personally in my body because I don't know what the effects are going to be out from the vaccine itself. So.
Hey, here's the thing. At the end of the day, we have a lot of really interesting things going on with, they're talking about 5G is not good for you. And, we're talking about, vaccines and we're, at the end of the day, more people are dying every year from heart problems. And so should we outlaw, fatty foods? Should we it's crazy at the end of the day what we're not taking into consideration and how people treat their bodies in the first place. Who knows? It's going to be an interesting setup.
It's going to get, it's going to be interesting. I agree with you. I'll start with a question for you. What made you want to join Tough Enough? That was my starter for you.
Yeah, so one of my mentors, right? One of my mentors, his wife one day saw one of the commercials and she was like, you got to check this out. And so I Googled it and I thought it was really cool. And I created a really cool video and it's online. It was awesome. And I put it out there and I got a call in a week or two later and they loved it. They loved what I did in the video. They loved, how I was goofing around, but then how I was super serious. So it was set up by a friend in the beginning.
Oh, wow. And so when they called you, was your reaction like, oh my gosh, I'm going to the WWE, or how did you react to that?
Yeah, I was pretty stoked. I mean, to be able to be a superstar and be able to be on TV and be able to, get people excited and take them through a storyline and create character. And it was crazy is the character was me because it was Tough Enough. It was live. It's who I am.
Yeah.
So people got to know me for me versus me for just coming up with a character. And
Okay.
I was blessed. I mean, it's one of the biggest transformational times I had in my life. I grew a lot that year.
Hmm.
I experienced a lot, had fun with traveling and getting to know myself, and I did a lot of nonprofit work. Was mentoring kids and doing some outreach stuff. So it was an amazing experience.
Okay. And I was just going to say, is there any experiences on the show that specifically stick out? Like, do you have a favorite?
So a lot of the training side of it was very interesting. The first week we got there, I went up to I like to help. I like to be a part of a team.
Hmm.
And I went up to the ring crew and I said, "Hey, could I help build this with you? Because I never built a ring before."
Yeah,
And so they said, "Yeah." And so I went back to Al Snow and I said, "Hey, I want to help build the ring." He goes, "Everybody's going to go help you build the ring."
that's
I'm like, of
awesome.
course. So all the other guys wanted to kick my ass,
Oh
and
boy.
I just wanted to learn. So it was pretty interesting.
Do you still pay attention to any of the wrestling work nowadays?
Not much lately. I see a little
Yeah.
bit. One of my buddies watches, so I see a little bit here and there. Still, I like Dan Rodheimer, one of my buddies. He's running for U.S. Congress in Nevada right now. He was on Tough Enough with me, and then he had, I think, a 3 or 4 year career after. So
Okay.
we're friends. I've talked to Al Snow. I've talked to a couple different guys, but I really, I put a lot of time into my companies today, and that's a
Yeah.
major focus of my life. So we have a school district and a branding agency and
Yeah.
our nonprofit and our tech company. So I'm pretty busy these days.
Yeah. If there's any information you'd want to give us after too, so if we could do some donations or something, we'll get that for the fans.
I'd love.
Um, so you were undefeated. We are huge MMA fans on this channel. That's mostly our main focus. You were undefeated at 8-0. What made you stop? That seems like and you were with Strikeforce too at a point for about 4 fights, which was one of the one of the higher up companies before it went under.
Yeah.
Uh, was there a reason why you stopped at 8-0?
So I had some contract challenges, and I went into. I started the nonprofit at that point
Okay.
after. I actually went back to wrestle in Japan, and I started the nonprofit when I was in Japan because of how much media we got in the U.S. from TMZ and some other
Yeah.
channels, and I got more value and fulfillment out of impacting communities than I did out of wrestling or fighting. Fighting, it was great entertainment and it's really fun, but I only got to wrestle, 4 days a week if I was with WWE, or it
Yeah.
was like 18 days I think for about 22 in Japan. But I
Wow.
didn't really get to impact people's lives. I got to entertain them,
Okay.
and entertain them and impacting people's lives is what I get to do now with our black belt emotional belief intelligence training, or we're going to do about 20 trainings across the country this year by
Oh wow.
one of our corporate partners. So I get
Okay.
paid now to impact people's lives and help them make a better life, not just to be entertained for their life.
Okay.
And when I see them do that, whether law enforcement or military or educators or community leaders, it's more valuable to me.
Okay. Well, was there someone you looked up to before you started doing MMA? What made you want to get into it and try it out to get to that point?
Yeah, I was just really pissed off in life. I went to juvenile hall before, and went into a gym called American Kickboxing Academy, and
Oh yeah.
Frank Shamrock, Javier Mendez were there, and I didn't really know their story. I didn't follow it
Okay.
because it was just coming up. Like WWE was
Yeah.
huge back in the day at that point.
Yeah.
MMA wasn't that big yet, and so I walked in the door and went to go, learn how to learn a skill set. And I didn't understand what I was going to learn or how I was going to learn yet, but the experience that I got out of it was priceless. And becoming a pro athlete, I could use it with walking indoors, but I
Yeah.
also could be able to use the skill sets and the passion and the drive and the commitment and all those things that I learned through getting my butt whooped every day.
Yeah.
I could utilize that in my life, and I get to share those experiences with kids, but I get to help them create their own experiences to get to where they want to go.
And the training people don't realize is actually the harder part leading up to the fight. It's what you don't see on TV. That is hard on your body, right?
Yeah.
Was it a hard transition though, going from wrestling to doing MMA?
So it was a harder transition going from MMA to wrestling, I think, because I was used to going after somebody and whooping their butt.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got used to, being a part of WWE. And
Yeah.
so to go from like me looking at somebody on the other side of the cage going, okay, now I get to dismantle you and
Mm-hmm.
win, to, okay, let's dance. And I
Yeah.
can make it look like I dismantle you, is a whole different world of, just perspective and how I performed. And it was way harder. And then going back,
Mm-hmm.
it was interesting because I trained myself on the opposite again. So it's just like going from amateur wrestling to MMA, because amateur wrestling, you don't want to be on your back, and MMA, you do want to be on your back.
Yes.
So it's just, it's different context of how to play the game.
Okay. Okay. I do have some fan questions for you. Do you think you were going to win Tough Enough?
Yes.
That's probably the best answer you can give. Is there a reason why?
Yeah, I'm a badass. I trained properly. I did my work. I didn't go spend my time on things that I shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
I focused. I had great mentorship, and I committed myself 100%. Anything I've ever committed myself 100%, I succeeded. My nonprofit, my schools, MMA. So there's a consistency on focus,
Yeah.
commitment, and building the right team around me.
Perfect. And Phoenix will love that answer. What were your thoughts on the whole Kurt Angle situation?
He acted like a big baby. We could have done some stuff to really make it work, but he's got a big ego,
Yeah.
and I respect him for what he's done in his career.
Mm-hmm.
He's a rock star. I talk smack once in a while just to have fun, but
Mm-hmm.
really at the end of the day, I'm very impressed. I mean, to build, to get to that level and build himself to the next level of being one of the biggest WWE superstars ever, that is not easy. And so I'm very blessed to have the time that I did with him, and for him to congratulate me after I won Tough Enough.
That's amazing. Which company did you enjoy working for? WWE and New Japan or ROH? I know you did all three of them.
So ROH is great. Those guys are amazing there. New Japan, Inoki, the team in Japan, absolutely amazing. Very, very, very great hosts and just inspiring. WWE was awesome. Different context though, to be in New Japan, to be in Japan, and ROH and WWE, just different worlds, different culture, obviously in Japan.
Yeah.
But it's I'm surprised that ROH hasn't gotten bigger faster. I don't think they really want it. WWE was a unique year on where I got to learn about myself, and I talk about it every once in a while where people would say drink with me or go out or go party, and that's not what I was there for. I wasn't there to spend my time and waste. I was there to create a life, create a brand, build the company by building myself. So some people say, well, why didn't you stay? And I'm like, well, it wasn't the offer that I wanted. When people offer you one thing and then they offer you something else, to me, it's just not the context of life that I want to be known for. And what's interesting is Vince is going to go down, and the McMahons are going to go down for being powerhouses. But at the end of the day, they could, go away tomorrow, and I don't think people would really care. I think people would want somebody like, that inspires them more. So it's just very interesting how people leave a legacy and how people
are very forgetful.
Yeah, very forgetful, but they run they run a company, right? And so there's a lot of people out there that per se don't care about them. Like, that's the crazy part is I mean, if they didn't run the company anymore, somebody would come in and run the company, and they could probably run it better because there's less ego. I
I
mean, that's
understand
how
that.
movies make money. And so it's just very interesting to watch the whole entire dynamic of that.
Yeah, I agree with that. How amazing is it to be a deputy sheriff?
Love it, brother. Love it.
Yeah.
I became a deputy last January.
Hmm.
I get to serve the community, but I did it because of two major things. One, I get to influence law enforcement. We're
Yeah.
working with law enforcement around the country, as in one of my contracts for my nonprofit. So for me to be a deputy sheriff reserve, it adds a ton of value for that. And the second thing is I get to impact the kids. So I get to show a different perspective to the kids of what law enforcement can be,
Hmm.
and that they can grow up being that same thing. And so bringing tips and tools and frameworks, programs, other mentors within the law enforcement community or outside to kids, law enforcement gets the credit. And
Yeah.
um, my captain, Eddie Adamson, is like a second dad to me. Our sheriff, he's a rock star, longest run sheriff in the state of Arkansas.
Oh wow.
So I go in 2-3 times a year, maybe four. I do 4 or 5 days, impact a lot of people, and I learn a lot too. I learn a lot from, at the end of the day, law enforcement, you're pulling up to a scene where you have no clue who has a gun, who
Yeah.
has what's going on. And the idea is you want to really, at least for me, I want to impact the people that are there and keep other people safe. And
That's great.
so it's been a blessing.
That's awesome to hear. We appreciate everything you do. And you do a lot of things. You're definitely a trait of many men, or you'd say, like, it's kind of crazy how much you do, and I really appreciate all your time today.
Yeah.
Did you want to give a quick rundown of if we could do some charity work or give a shout out to the MLMP?
Yeah, so if anybody ever wants to come out to one of our schools, we're in South Florida now. We're going to be rolling out more across the country. Love to have anybody come speak. That's the biggest thing. I mean, if somebody wants
Hmm.
to ever impact one of our schools and, sponsor a kid or something like that, you can go to mylifemypower.org. But I love people that want to travel, that want to come down here. And, I'd love to have you come in and just, spend a couple hours with the kids, get to know them, tell a story, bring a
Hmm.
project, teach them about media or whatever it is. It's great when you see different perspectives. I bring in judges or police chiefs or CEOs. My buddy with a Ferrari came in last year and showed him his Ferrari. So it's all over the place on what's possible and how they're going to, the kids see it from a different perspective from everybody. So
Yeah.
thanks for your time today. Thanks for having me on, brother.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everything.
You got it. See you.